YouTube. I'm sorry I haven't been posting for a while, but I do have a reason for that, and I'll be coming on to it shortly along with some other channel updates. But I do understand that some of you are really only interested in my videos for the music content. So first of all, I will be covering the Andy Sneap drum samples that are in the title. And then if you want to hang around and listen to what else I've got to say, then great. A few years ago now, Andy Sneap released a series of drum samples online for people to download and use as they see fit, which are ones that he'd used to beef up the drums on a Chimera album. I think it was Resurrection, and also I think maybe an Arch Enemy album as well. I think he did Doomsday Machine. This is about 5-7 years ago now. They're really good samples. There's kick, snare and toms, 4 toms, I think 3 rack toms and a floor tom, and you get a few samples of each so that you can cycle the triggering and obviously not make them sound like a machine gun. Obviously you have to find a way to trigger these yourself, and they're really good for backing up your main drum sound. I wouldn't use them on their own, but if you are wondering how you can do that, I have covered this in one of my videos from a while back. It's Metal Mixing Tips episode 1, adding low end body to a metal kick, about 7 minutes in. I'll put a link in the description below. I do suggest you download these. I'll put them in my YouTube Dropbox for everybody. Again, the description is below. I think they're quite hard to get online now because they sort of disappeared after a while, but they are free to use. Andy Sneap did give permission, and they are really good samples. And if anything, if you don't end up using them, at least you can analyze them and you'll see the type of backup sounds a top quality engineer uses to sort of make his drums sound that much fuller. Well, if you're still here and wanting to hear more about my channel updates, then thanks very much for sticking around. So where I've been for the last couple of months, I actually had a motorbike accident in July, and it was pretty bad. I came off at about 50 miles an hour, which is about 80 kilometers an hour or so. Skidded along the road. Luckily, very luckily for me, no car hit me. And I didn't have too much damage. I damaged my right shoulder. I landed on my right side and hit the floor pretty hard at that sort of speed, so damaged my right shoulder. I cracked a couple of ribs on my right hand side as well, and because of that I haven't been able to sing properly for a couple of months. My shoulder's been really hurting. I didn't break it, but it's really been painful, so I haven't been able to play the guitar particularly well. So my music sort of took a back seat for a bit. Even using a mouse for a prolonged period was hurting. So what I actually did was spent a lot of time remixing one of my earlier albums, which I'll come on to again shortly. So that's why I've not been posting much. I haven't been able to use the computer or music particularly in the last couple of months, but I'm hoping that's now going to change again. So in terms of upcoming videos, what you'll probably just notice is I've just released into the public a series of videos, the remaining songs from my album DNR from 2011. I had decided about a year ago I wasn't really going to post many of those songs because generally the album was pretty badly produced, and the songs, although I like them all individually, they don't really sit together very well as an album. Because I couldn't use the computer very much, I couldn't use my guitar or sing properly. What I did do was, just without any pressure on myself, just when I wanted to fiddle around a bit with Cubase, was I went back to those files and tried to rescue them as best as I could. So I got them to the stage where I'm happy enough to put them up, and I know I spent 2 years of my life recording the bloody things, so I do want some people to at least listen to them. I hope some people like them, but please don't take DNR as an example of production, especially mine. I'm hoping my current album is doing a lot better than that. So that will explain why you might suddenly see 5 or 6 songs like that suddenly pop up in your subs box. Other videos that are coming up soon, I have got to do metal mixing tips on lead guitar. I've got to finish my tutorial on orchestration for metal. I'm going to be covering plugins to use and the final mixing and mastering side of things there. And I do have a couple of others in the works, so hope you stick with me. There will be some others coming along. And finally, occasionally I get some requests for where people can find my music. Now, I've never had anything released commercially, and I'd never really bothered putting anything up other than on things like MySpace and YouTube and stuff like that, which aren't great quality. I finally got round to getting everything up on SoundCloud. So If you are by any chance interested in listening to my back catalogue, there's probably a good couple of hours worth of stuff up there now. The links in the description below as usual. I've currently got 2 accounts on there because, as most of you will probably know, you only get 2 hours with your account, and that's just not been enough for me. I've filled one of those up with my first double album pretty much. But yeah, if you're interested, that's where they are, and thanks for listening, and hope to bring you some more tutorials very soon. Cheers.
I can't believe the ones who call upon